are things going to go back to where you can work and support your family without stressing out? Seriously, my bills alone are $3,000 a month. I'm a single mom who receives like $300 a month in child support for 2 kids.
Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Taylor the Fiend back again, and today we are taking a look at broke women losing their minds because men won't subsidize them anymore. Let's jump into it.
Why is no one talking about the singles tax in travel? You know, the hotel rooms that cost double because you don't have someone to split with. The based on 2 people sharing fine print that suddenly makes solo travel way more expensive. No one warns you that independence actually costs extra.
She's flying to luxury resorts on her own. That's not a tax, it's just wasteful spending. I swear these women are so bad with their money.
I'm paying for my meal and your meal. I'm not paying for your kids' meal. No.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not paying for their kids' meal. No.
So you don't think you owe me after having me wait an hour and a half?
I told you I owe you. I owe you one. I'll take you out
Okay,
again.
and so you're going to pay for my kids' food?
No, I'm not doing that.
Can you please go ahead and
I'm not doing that. No. Hold up, beautiful. Hold up. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Why you not
Listen.
bring 2, please?
What's her name, Kiera?
Bring 2 orders.
Why should I do that, Kiera?
It takes a lot of nerve to say that a date owes her anything when she dragged her kids along. I love how men are always on the hook for owing women things, apparently, even though, you know, in this case, the man didn't even know her, and yet she still expects him to owe her something.
Because you sitting right here on the date.
I was late to the date. I was late to the date.
You bring 2 orders.
But I'm saying, why would I get her kids food? Why would I get her kids some food? They with their daddy.
She was right here.
Their daddy should be feeding them.
She was waiting.
You say you order a steak for your son? How old is he?
He ate.
He ain't eating steak. He eating the same thing I eat. Nah, hell no. I'm straight. I'm cool. Don't put that on my bill.
Give him a
Don't put that on
steak.
me.
Make sure you put a side of A1 sauce as well. He
Yo,
paying for all of this today.
I'm not paying for all that. No, I'm not paying for all that.
Yes, you are.
Yes, you are is the response a child makes when they hear the phrase, no, I'm not. And again, this doesn't really help these women when people assess them as essentially children in adult bodies, unfortunately.
It actually makes me lose my mind. And just simple, I just cleaned or just did all this for 2.5 hours. Now it's I need to get groceries or I need to get, it's just 24/7, full on. There's just no help. There's just no help. We talk about, we don't talk about anything. Financially, it's awful. You gotta pay for everything, rent all alone, every bill by yourself, everything alone. When you're a girly pop, all your food's paid for. It's kind of luxurious. It's kind of nice.
Independence is always amazing when someone else is paying for your lifestyle, it seems, right? We hear these women talk about how strong and independent they are, and then we find out that they get money from men, or they get money from the government, which is obviously tax-paying men, and so on.
Am I the only one who absolutely hates being single? Because I've been single for a year now, and it sucks. Just enjoy your time. Go out, have fun, enjoy your alone time, blah, blah, blah. There were people who were meant to be alone, and there were people who weren't meant to be alone. I am the second type. Sucks. I just want to have someone to come home to hang out with, to talk to watch movies with. I have my kids and they're amazing, but I want another adult to talk to.
If she believes that she's not meant to be alone, then why exactly is she a single mother? None of these women who make these videos or who are single mothers in cases like these, which is the vast majority of them, ever seem to take accountability at all for their position in life, be it because they're single, because they're broke, or whatever the case may be.
People ask me all the time, but why are you single? Because I'm trying to save money. You know how expensive it is to be a good partner? You're doing activities. You're spending money on going out to eat all the time. You know what I'm doing? I cook every day, spend a little bit of money on food, and that's it. It's the bachelor life.
Dating is a needless expense nowadays. That's why so many men are walking away, especially when men are, going to be the ones who are required by these women supposedly to pay for everything.
You cannot survive in London without a boyfriend because it's so expensive. I cannot save any money when I'm single because constantly my friends are going out, they're constantly inviting me somewhere. I always want to go for brunch, I always going to go for girly dinner dates. Obviously no one pays for you there. But ever since getting a boyfriend, I actually started feeling so much comfortable financially. Literally, the cost of living crisis does not account for you living alone in London. It's impossible, just forget about it.
In other words, she's tired of wasting her money and needs a man to waste his for her. You know, she's not actually looking for a relationship. Many of these women aren't actually looking for a relationship or a man they care about or, you know, can be a good wife for or anything. They're just looking for a man to pay their bills for them.
Don't get me wrong, I love being single and I love living alone. It's great, it's fantastic, but it's expensive. Ah! I just spent $600 on brakes on my car, just on the front part of the car, because I couldn't afford all 4 brakes and axles and rotors and whatever the f***. And then now I just paid my car payment, which is $500, so I just blew $1,100 in like 3 hours, and it wasn't even like fun, you know?
That is not a tax, and it had nothing to do with being single. That's basic car maintenance.
Sorry, it's just so overwhelming. Like, you work and 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 you work, and it's just to pay off, like, your basic necessities. Ah!
Yes, that's called being an adult. Most of us can do it without crying in our cars. In fact, the majority of us can do it without crying in our cars, especially if you are not a modern woman, it seems.
I'm sorry, but single people have less rights, and this is why. First example, group trips. You go on a group trip, there's only a certain amount of rooms, right? Everyone who's in a couple, they get like the nice room, like they're a couple, so they get to get the grand suite. It's like, I'm not in a couple, so I was on a group trip, and I was shoved in a bed with a girl I've never even met before, because we were the 2 singles. Not only were we shoved in a bed together after just meeting like 4 hours before, but it was in like the crickety weird attic. It's like, why are we shoved up there? Just because we're single, like we are lesser value and get an ugly room where we have to climb up the stairs and be in the creepy attic?
Having a luxurious room to yourself isn't a right. It is a sign of massive privilege. You know, it's crazy to me how these people always consider, you know, oh, I have this right, but really it's not a right. It's something that is incredibly privileged to have.
You met the love of your life. Congratulations, you're getting married, which means that you get a gift. You get an engagement gift, you get a wedding gift, you have a baby, you add another person into your life. Now you guys are 3 and you get more gifts. I'm still single. What gifts am I getting? Like, do I get a gift for being single? I think I should. You get in a couple, you guys get to split rent. You're single, you pay all that all by yourself. I was just at a wedding last week and they were like, okay, now it's time for the slow dance. Like, come join us on the dance floor. And everyone's doing like a romantic dance. And I'm like, I love dancing, but I have to sit on the sidelines during the song because I have no one to dance with. So I can't even dance at a wedding, like, to a slow song. I just find that is like less rights.
People don't get presents for being single because 1, that's stupid, and 2, it's not an accomplishment. If you're a woman and you're single, you actually have to try to be single. You have to be actively unpleasant. You have to be choosing the wrong men. Like, this is not a good thing for them.
To cancel your PTO for Thanksgiving, I'm gonna need you to come in.
It's literally 2 days away. You can't just do that now.
I absolutely can. We need you in the office. No one's gonna be here. I also have to go. I'm gonna need you to be here and be responsible and attend.
Okay, well, I already had plans made with my family. Like, I can't come in. That's not fair.
Well, it sounds like it's a family plan. It's not like you have things booked. You know, everyone else has kids, including me. You're the only one on our team who doesn't have kids. So we're gonna need you to show up because people can't miss time with their kids.
Why don't we just close? Like, why does anyone have to be there?
I'm sorry, we just need someone to be there in the back office in case something happens, and we need customer support.
Okay, well, I'm not going to be there, so I'll call in. You cannot make this up, and HR would never believe me if I didn't have proof.
To be fair, that is kind of messed up, especially if she already made her plans in advance. But, you know, can you really believe these women? Not too sure about that one.
Someone tell me how a single person is supposed to survive in the UK right now, because the numbers just don't add up. Everyone keeps saying it's cheaper to be single, live on your own. That's not the case. If you're not a couple, you have to pay all of that on your own. Before you've even started living, you're looking at $1,200 to $1,600 per month. Again, these are averages, not necessarily accurate depending on the area that you live in.
It is way cheaper to remain single, especially if you are a man, again, because you're the one who's going to be required to pay for everything, apparently.
I think the thing that gets me is people just say, well, go and get a better job, go and get a higher paid job, go and learn a skill. Yeah, you can do all of that, but we shouldn't have to. At the end of the day, if you're working full time, if you're doing a 35-hour plus a week, you shouldn't need to go and get a second job. You shouldn't need to have a side hustle.
Men are not responsible for women's comfort in an expensive city like London. That is all on her.
I now live in a basement, 1 bed, 1 bath, again, in a nice area, just a different nice area. Street parking, no balcony. All utilities are on me. And I pay, depending, on the utilities, because that does vary, but I would say close to $1,600 a month. So yes, it is cheaper to live with your partner or roommate than it is to live by yourself. So for people who think, oh, well, like, you're single, you don't have to, like, spend money on, like, going out with your partner, buying them gifts, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but I'm paying, like, $500 extra just to live in a place by myself.
If you can't afford to live in a specifically expensive part of town, then maybe you should consider moving someplace cheaper.
When are things going to go back to where you can work and support your family without stressing out? Seriously, my bills alone are $3,000 a month. I'm a single mom who receives like $300 a month in child support for 2 kids. I can't do this anymore. I work every single day. I get maybe a day off. Sometimes, if I'm lucky, I'll get 2 days off. I'm sick of it. I'm so sick of this. And I forgot to pay my daughter's braces.
She clearly initiated the divorce, and she's stressed because her financial plan backfired. And when I say financial plan, really the plan was just to rob the man of money and to live off of that.
And now I have to bring her in for them to remove them because I can't afford to pay it all off at once. I am so sick of this country. I'm so sick of how expensive everything is. Something needs to happen. Where I live, rent is insane. A 2-bedroom is $2,000. These prices are insane. It's ridiculous. Nobody can survive like this, especially if you're alone, you're single. You can't. Like, do I have to get a roommate and rent out my son's room and move him in my room? Like, this country, it sucks. It sucks. I'm sick of it. And I'm tired.
This is the world that feminism demanded, and there is no going back to the way that things were.
Really struggling being single today. Like, I just don't want to be single. I just want to be in a relationship, and it's actually really f***ed up. Like, when I actually deep it, that I feel like I need to be in a relationship in order to be happy. Like, that is actually how I feel at the moment. Like, I don't feel like I'm myself unless I'm in a relationship. Can anybody else relate to that? I'm just like, I just want a relationship. Like, I'm like, I don't care who it is, I just want a relationship.
A relationship isn't going to fix a thing for her. It's just going to make it worse for everybody, particularly the boyfriend.
Life is economically easier when you have someone to help foot the bill.
I don't know how people manage to be single and have their own space. Most people who are living in London are not living. They're getting by. Yeah, they're getting by. Living wage isn't really rising with inflation and hasn't done for years.
From housing to healthcare and even groceries, the cost of being single adds up. Let's take Canada, for example. A single person renting a 1-bedroom pays, on average, over $23,000 a year. Meanwhile, a couple splitting a 2-bedroom each pay about $14,000 a year. All expenses in, if you're a single person living in Canada, your cost of living is nearly $7,000 more than those who are partners.
This story just boils men down to walking ATMs, but that is not our fault. This is the world that modern women demanded, and there is no point in complaining about it now.
Single in your 30s is expensive. And sure, I'm making adult money and I have the whole bed to myself, but let's be real. Rent in London is sky high, and it's fully on me. Groceries? Single servings cost just as much as family packs, and when traveling solo, there's no one to use my BA companion voucher with. So yes, we get to live life on our own terms, but the struggle is real.
That can be solved by, I don't know, not wasting money, but those words aren't in her vocabulary.
I just took out a loan for basic needs and food. Like, needs/food. I have never in my life had to take out a loan for the things that my home needs. I had to make the decision of gas or food, or somehow budget it and split that and get a little bit of gas and get a little bit of food until I get paid again. I said, there's no way. I cannot do this. I need to have a little bit more for gas, and I need to have enough food. So Affirm has, its thing with Sam's Club. I was like, it. Let's just take out a loan for our basic needs.
You shouldn't have to take a loan out to afford groceries, but one has to ask, what exactly are you doing to be in a position where you have to take out a loan in order to do that? Are you not working? Are you just sitting at home all day watching TikToks? The question has to be asked.
I'm tired of the amount of gaslighting us single people have to go through. Because let's be honest, a lot of the things that our friends in relationships can get for free, we have to pay for. And there's no amount of self-love or therapy that can kind of circumvent the frustration that being single is very expensive. Because if, an example, I am sick, I don't have anyone who can cook for me. My friend can ask her boyfriend to cook for her. I have to DoorDash something. If I need help moving something in my house, I need to go find someone and pay that person to come over and move it. Well, my friend can just ask her partner.
What she's describing are adult responsibilities, not discrimination against single women. I love how everything, right, no matter what it is, despite the fact that it might affect a whole lot of people, men included, apparently all of this crap is just discrimination against single women, guys.
And all those things just add up. If you lose your job, you have someone who can help you with rent. If you are having like financial trouble or health trouble, you now need to like disclose that to your family or friends, which might be embarrassing, or you can tell your one husband or your wife to help you through that. It is so frustrating to have to go through so many things alone and make these really big decisions, hard decisions completely by myself. I have my friends, I have my family, I love them, I can lean on them, but maybe I don't want to tell them all about my finances. Maybe I don't want to have to over-explain my entire health condition to them. Maybe I just need someone to help me with a real quick task that I don't want to have to pay someone or wait for someone to drive across town to come help me.
That is not exclusively a singles problem. Couples go through that stuff all of the time.
And it is so frustrating because we're told that, being single is great. And it's really great when compared to an unhealthy relationship. But being single is not always better than having a healthy relationship. Don't get me wrong, I am not going to go hop into a relationship with a man just so I can have someone. But I do think we need to be honest that being single, while it can be really great, is also very impractical sometimes.
If you feel like you need a man for financial survival, then honestly, that is your problem. Again, these are the women who screw up their relationships, who cheat, who divorce, who demand that men approach them but are not worth approaching at all. And at the end of it all, guys, they expect men to pay the bills. It sounds like a you problem.
I'm so tired of being broke. I have done all the right things, and I am working as much as I can being a single mom, trying not to take away more time away from my child. So I'm doing TikTok, and I am trying to do as many lives but get enough sleep so I'm healthy for my child, but also find a time to work out, find a time for me. That's not including any of those things. And I just had to freaking take out a loan to buy groceries. Like, I had to use Affirm and pay interest for my bare minimum groceries.
Money lenders don't accept TikTok views as payments. She should probably get a better job. If I was a money lender, why on earth would I do that?
I'm going to say the thing that your other single friends and family members aren't going to ask for the holiday season, and that is to rethink our antiquated gift-giving traditions. Why? Right, let's just set the scene, right? I am one individual person on a single income buying gifts for everyone in my immediate family, their partners, and potentially their children. For some of us, that is buying 10 plus gifts and getting one gift back from their family unit. So buying 10 gifts, getting 2 gifts back, maybe. And some people can afford that, and that's great. I'm so happy for you. But that is unfortunately not the reality for a lot of us who are single in our 20s or 30s plus.
Then don't buy a dozen gifts. People will understand if you are struggling. Problem solved.
And I'm already strapped. I am, paying for my rent, me, myself, and I don't know how long I'm going to be doing that for. Like in this economy, in this dating scene, like I don't know when or if I'll be partnered to eventually split that cost. And so I think conversation needs to happen around how we can make this more equitable at this point in our lives, right? Like maybe we can consider a budget maximum that everyone's spending and then split amongst your family if you want to prioritize your child or if you need something for the family.
She's putting way too much thought into not having to waste money on presents.
Maybe you could do one gift per family instead of getting one for, sibling, partner, and child. you have children, maybe you could consider, just get a gift for the kid, or let's only do gifts for kids for the first 3 years. Or, maybe you could think about us and our single income and say, hey, maybe we could give a gift that is from aunts and uncles. Also, if you could give us a bedroom with a bed for ourselves and a door, that would be great.
World culture isn't just going to magically change simply because you don't have money. That's a private conversation to be had with your family, not with the entire planet, I would think at least.
My baby daddy quit his job as an electrician where he was making over 6 figures a year to work a minimum wage job at a fast food place just so he wouldn't have to pay me $3,000 a month in child support. Is that not ridiculous? He would rather take a massive pay cut than to give me money to pay for his kids. I'm just so pissed right now because how the f*** am I going to pay for my mortgage? How am I going to pay for my mortgage? And you can tell me to go get a job, but then who's going to watch my kids? Because putting my kids in daycare is going to cost more than my freaking house. I told him when we first got together I was never going to get a job and he was going to have to take care of me, and he was okay with that. But now we're divorced and he's saying that he shouldn't be paying my bills.
If your financial future hinges on child support payments, then you don't really have a plan, in my opinion.
Something I feel like that's not talked about enough on this app is being single and financially how hard it is. I literally work 2 jobs. I work in sales and I teach Pilates part-time. Both of the jobs pay pretty well, but still I feel like it's so hard to stay afloat. And don't get me wrong, I like to ski. I definitely don't live a frugal life. I have a nice apartment. Never say no to plans, but how are people doing it? How are you attending everyone's bachelorette parties, everyone's birthday dinner, going on all of these trips with your friend and having leftover money to spend on yourself? Completely stopped doing my hair, so that saves some money. Truly exhausting. I just don't understand it.
They're not. They're too busy trying to survive to waste money on needless luxuries.
Single tax is having to throw away half your groceries every week because you can't get through them all. Single tax is having no one to split your subscriptions with, your Amazon Prime, your Netflix, etc. Single tax is not having a second brain to help you, so you end up spending more. For example, you leave your clothes in the washer because no one's helping to remind you to put them in the dryer, or putting them in the dryer so you have to wash them a second time. Single tax is not having a second brain, so you have to pay more in your bills. For example, not having a second person checking to make sure the lights have been turned off before you leave your apartment when you go out of town.
That's not a single tax. That is just being absent-minded and then blaming somebody else for it.
On top of the fact that single tax is not having anyone to split your bills with, period. Electricity and the like. Single tax is not having anyone to split any baby shower gift, wedding gift, etc. with. Single tax is working a full-time job, but also being the only one able to be home if the maintenance guy needs to come in, the internet needs fixing, etc. Single tax is having to pay the locksmith because you don't have anybody with a second set of keys to let you in late at night. Finally, single tax is being told that all these things can just be done by a roommate or a close friend or a neighbor, but we all know it's not the same.
That's not punishment for being single. That's being an adult in modern society. Everybody goes through hard times. It sucks, but you just need to be a grown-up and deal with it, and probably not sit there and make TikTok videos like the grand majority of these women.
So I'm single and it's whack. I'm not built for this. I'm not built to pay all the goddamn bills myself. For every bill I pay by myself, a little piece of me dies. You seeing me disappear. But this is not what I'm here for.
She'll never believe it, but couples also feel that kind of strain as well, I'm sure. It just doesn't go away.
When it comes to the single life, I don't see a lot of men online, notice I said online, talking about how expensive it is to be single. And of course I already know why, right? I already know why that's the case, because it's an old saying, and it's a true saying, that men that are single, they save money.
We save money because we're not dealing with massive ransom demands from single women.
When women get in relationships, they then save money. I've noticed here lately that the women are admitting that it's true, because they're saying being single is expensive. And every time they bring up being single is expensive, they're always talking about a man paying for something. It's never about any type of cooperation. It's never about femininity matching with masculinity. It's never about unity, which is what a relationship is supposed to be about.
That's because those women don't actually see men as people. They only see men as, walking ATMs or wallets or whatever language you want to use. Just money, really.
I have never had a wedding shower. Any sort of shower. Every single thing I've had to buy myself, and everything breaks. Nothing is good quality. My laundry basket that I took forever to decide on, I spent like 6 months deciding what laundry basket I wanted. That was within my budget. I got it. It's already broken.
You shouldn't be spending 6 months of your time deciding what laundry basket you want in your home. That is what is known as a first world problem, like Crimea River.
And I just get so frustrated that nothing works, everything breaks, and that this is like such a hidden cost of if you are not sharing these things with someone else, or if you are not being bought these things, these are just like other disposable income things that add up, that if your paycheck is only enough to pay for bills.
Everybody faces these problems, but most of us have enough common sense to not complain about it. If you want to be independent, this is what independence looks like. It is time to grow up.
Like, you don't want your items to break. Like, also, like, my, God, I'm just getting so frustrated. I'm kind of, like, at my wit's end right now. Like, my vacuum kind of was, like, breaking, and I'm just like, great, now I, like, seriously.
It's difficult to be a responsible adult when you spend most of your life as a spoiled child.
No one is talking about how if you live in this economy, this day and age, and you are single and you pay all your bills yourself, don't have no help, you a bad, because baby, the price tag is high over here.
You're not a quote-unquote baddie for doing that. It's literally the bare minimum for being an adult. Make sure you click on one of the videos on screen now to watch more if you liked today's video. Don't forget to take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.